5-minute call. Stuart Smith.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I want to carry on the same theme that has been trade that's been on the last few speeches, Mr Speaker, and I want to do it with an example of free trade. Back in 1983, the Closer Economic Relations, or CER, agreement with Australia and New Zealand came into force. Prior to 1983, Mr Speaker, the wine industry was a totally domestic market-focused industry, protected in just about every way. New Zealanders had no choice but to buy the wine that was produced in New Zealand. It was quite inferior quality, but actually because it was protected, it really didn't matter that much. They could sell it anyway. So after 1983, sir, the market was opened up. Australian wine was able to be purchased in New Zealand without the tariffs and at a similar or even a cheaper price than New Zealand wine, and lo and behold, it actually tasted better. It was what consumers wanted. That left the wine industry high and dry, and it led to a scheme, a vine pool scheme, which the government paid industry to remove grapevines because it was simply economically unviable. But that opportunity led to the wine industry becoming a very customer-focused and what is now a $1.5 billion export industry, from nothing to $1.5 billion. That's a significant shift in an industry's focus. And that's because the industry was open to competition and it embraced innovation. It planted wine styles, grapevines, that consumers wanted to buy. And that has enhanced our other trade opportunities around the world because people in the world now recognise that New Zealand can make high-quality consumer goods that are grown in New Zealand and branded to the very highest of levels. So I put it to the people who oppose free trade agreements to have a good look at CER and the difference that it made to the wine industry and other industries. But I know the wine industry quite well because it did make a significant difference, and that we have to embrace change. If we rail against it, that's natural for people to fear change. But change offers opportunity, and the opportunities for the wine industry is going now forward towards $2 billion in exports by 2020. And I think even Frank Yukich, who had planted the first commercial vineyard in Marlborough, could not have imagined how it transformed the regions around New Zealand, like Central Otago with its Pinot Noir, like Marlborough with its Sauvignon Blanc. So, Mr Speaker, I want to move on now to the flag. I've been in favour of the flag change right from the beginning. In fact, I've been wearing this badge before the votes were counted, and it's been quite interesting to note that in the time up to Christmas, people did talk about it a bit, but after Christmas it's been phenomenal, the change in people's attitude. And you can see they've come along and they're actually embracing it. And I think I want to go back to the trade thing and draw a parallel with that, because in 1973, 10 years before Frank Yukich planted his grapevines in Marlborough, New Zealand's trade with the UK was 26% of our goods exported. Today, it's 3%. The UK, as we know, entered the EU, and it was very difficult for us to trade with them, or much less easy than it was before. And all of our ties over that time, like many New Zealanders, I've enjoyed my OE in the UK, as many of our colleagues across all sides of the House have done, but it's getting much harder for other Kiwis to do that now. And the UK is doing what it needs to do, but it's also charging fees. But we, as New Zealanders, we have a multicultural society now. I think we want a symbol that represents us and where we are today, and I believe the flag, the current flag doesn't do that. The Union Jack doesn't really represent where we are. People fought and died for a choice. I'm going to be putting my choice forward. And it's quite interesting to note, in my view, Mr Speaker, when people see the flag flying, they realise it is actually quite a stunning flag and it represents us. So, Mr Speaker, it's a great pleasure to have been able to speak in favour of the Prime Minister's statement. I look really forward to hearing other contributions, and let's hope they are thoughtful. Thank you.